He would have loved it. Ocean's 8 is directed by Gary Ross and starring Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, Sarah Paulson, Mindy Kaling, Helena Bonham Carter, Awkwafina, and Rihanna. As always, there will not be any plot spoilers in this review. This is the sequel to the Ocean trilogy that wrapped up quite a while ago. This film centers around the character of Debbie Ocean, portrayed by Sandra Bullock, who is the sister of the Danny Ocean character, portrayed by George Clooney in that original trilogy. And this film revolves around a heist. And this heist has to do with a specific piece of jewelry that is around the neck of the Anne Hathaway's character, who happens to be attending the Met Gala. Gary Ross is a director with a rather eclectic filmography of films. You may know him as the director of such films as Pleasantville, Seabiscuit, Hunger Games, and most recently, Free State of Jones. All films that are rather different from one another, and this film is also rather different than all of the other ones that he has done before. This film is a sequel, but it's also a film that I think tries to stand on its own, and it's also a film that I think is a lot of fun, headlined by an amazing cast of actresses, as you heard me read off before. This is one of the best ensemble of actresses, and I have to say, they are all really good in this movie. They are the reason why I would recommend people to go watch this movie, and the film itself is rather enjoyable. This is a film that I don't think is going to be a surprise to anyone, especially those who are familiar with the Ocean's films. This film very much takes a lot of elements from those films and kind of readapts it or reimagines it into this film here. While I wish the film had more originality to it, the lack of originality I don't think deflates the film entirely. If anything, it gives us a sense of familiarity to really engage us in the film, especially if you are a fan of heist movies. Unfortunately, I think the film falters and the film feels a little flat at times. And I don't think it's necessarily due to the fault of the actresses within it, because I think they're all doing a fine job of keeping this film afloat. Where I think the film lacks is that some of the jokes and some of the comedy really doesn't land, I think, as well as intended. Whether that is due to Gary Ross's ability as a director to really understand comedic timing, I think is up for debate. The film is also playing with a lot of interesting themes, in my opinion. It's not a thematically deep film in any way. It's a film more plot-driven, because the film really needs to keep that plot pacing up and to keep us involved and to keep us interested. So we're constantly moving from a plot point to plot point, formulating their plan to pull off this heist. There's a lot of interesting intricacies and a lot of things like that. But where the film does give us some depth is with the Debbie Ocean character, and they don't give us a lot of backstory, which I kind of found interesting because I think they're saving that for a sequel, particularly when it comes to the Debbie Ocean's character relationship with the Cate Blanchett characters in Lou. They seem to have this very interesting backstory and interesting partnership that we're not quite sure what the depths of it are. Hopefully that is explored more in a sequel, which I am actually all for. So I think I'm going to give this film a 3.4 out of 5 stars. This is not an amazing film in any way. I don't think it's a bad film. I think it's a film that kind of falls right in the middle. I definitely highly recommend checking it out for the cast itself, especially if you are fans of some of the amazing actresses that are in this movie. So that has been my review of Ocean's 8. If you like this video, please check out the other videos on my channel.